Hey guys, today I'm going to teach you distort, and this is an effect my friend has been bugging me about because he saw it, and so now I'm going to make a tutorial on it. So for example, we got a Windows XP screen here or wallpaper, and we got a monitor. So what happens if we want that Windows XP screen inside the monitor? So let's drag it inside, let's put it back as a tab and click back. So if you just put it like that, even if you resize it, it looks pretty fake, because this is a rhombus parallelogram-ish and this is just a rectangle. So how do we solve this? So there is two ways to solve it. One way I would much prefer. The other way, it's alright, but it takes a little practice. So let's get to the tool. So there's distort and perspective. So first you go to edit, transform, distort, or perspective. So let's start with perspective, the harder one, and we'll just select here, and we can resize it like this. We can change it back. We can make it go higher or lower. It's it's not that easy to use because I'm not really that you can slowly play around with it, make it bigger, smaller, and then you can make it bigger here, but it'll take you a while, so you must have patience if you use this tool. And it's just a mess. If you use this tool, it's alright because it actually does the perspective like this. If you were making like a wall, background wall, this would be pretty cool. You just set up this and that. But better way, an easier way would be using distort, which we are using right now. So distort should come up with these little pins, and you can select this and make it fatter, small. We Anyway, let's go back to the distort tool. Let's unscrew it up, and we just click on the corners. We just drag to that corner. We drag it to that corner, and we drag it to that corner. Let's get right, and that corner. So it's much easier, but it's not to perspective. So it might alter a tad bit. So see, and there you go. It's the windows inside the screen. You could always mess around with it a bit. Like I haven't done it perfectly here, it's like overlapped, but yeah, pretty much that's how you use the distort tool. And you can always mess around with it, distort, you can just a little bit, back in, and that seems alright for me. You could always mess around with these tools, um you know and so this is the end of the tutorial, and see you guys next time.